Of course, the whole goal of the teachers and supporters today was to pack the Capitol to make sure that lawmakers could hear them. News on 6's Amy Slanchik has that part of the story from inside the Capitol.
Lori, it is quiet in here now, but this won't last long. Teachers are returning to the Capitol tomorrow for day 3. It's impossible to not hear their message loud and clear.
Hey, you know what to do!
As day 2 of the walkout packs the inside of the Capitol.
Fund our future! Fund our future!
It's electric.
Do you have textbooks that don't even have 9/11 in your history books?
Away from the rotunda, teachers listened closely to House members, cheering on Representative Scott Inman after he said this.
Mr. Speaker, you keep cutting off my microphone. You can silence me, but
I didn't realize I was burnt, honestly, at first.
A Tulsa woman is recovering from burns to her face, arms, and hands after a fire ripped through her home on New Year's Day. She lost her dog and everything she owned.
News on 6's Ashley Isbicki is live on the story tonight. Ashley.
The smell of the fire still lingers here tonight. She was burned trying to put out the flames that sparked during the OU Bowl game.
My hair was actually on fire. I lost a lot of hair.
Renee Rowley was at her home on West 60th Street when her husband smelled something burning.
Behind the washer and dryer, the whole wall was on fire.
The couple and their friend tried using a fire extinguisher and flour when she remembers a flash.
Something exploded, and that was a big fireball caught me, and the other guy had his back to it, and luckily he had a jacket on, and he kind of tackled me.
She has burns on her arms and blisters on her hands.
I kept trying to go back in after my Chihuahua, the little dog. We found out later had run behind the couch and passed away.
Today, she rummaged through her charred belongings, hoping to find salvageable items.
We lost, I had brought home pictures from my husband's mother's house.
It's a house she's hoping to live in, but it's not habitable.
It was kind of a hoarder situation. His mother had literally 60 years worth of stuff packed in there.
She loaded up dumpster and trailer loads before her grandmother-in-law passed away in the fall. But there's still a lot of junk and the floors need rebuilt.
I've spent my whole life doing stuff for other people. When this happened to me, I had no idea how to go about helping myself.
She says she's trying to stay positive. Thankful they made it out alive.
I made the joke to everybody that hopefully this will be like a dermabrasion and all my wrinkles will disappear.
I hope so. Rowley says she couldn't get homeowners insurance because this trailer is too old. If you would like to help, we do have a link to her GoFundMe page on our website, newson6.com. Live on the scene on the story in West Tulsa County, Ashley Isbicki, News on 6.
Top story tonight. Firefighters are working to put out grass fires in several parts of Green Country. Right now, a fire burning near Oshaleta is only about 15 to 20% contained and has threatened homes in that area.
News on 6's Justin Schreier is live on the scene. Justin, what's the latest there now?
Yeah, Craig and Terry, you can still feel that smoke burning in your lungs tonight. If you look closely, you can see much of that fire is still burning over my right-hand shoulder tonight. That fire has burned about 800 acres. Fire officials say they're getting closer to having a handle on it. They've had about 8 fire departments out here today, as well as 3 aircraft fighting this fire. Peggy Whiteman is still nervous tonight after an afternoon filled with flames inching dangerously close to her Ochaleta home. She says this is the first time she's ever experienced a wildfire this close.
I think they're taking pretty good care of us. I just lost my husband less than 2 weeks ago. So, you know, this is a little bit scary for being all alone.
Washington County Fire Chief Kerry Cox says there's been at least 3 fires within the county today. This one, he says, has been particularly difficult for fire crews.
It is in some very rough terrain, very remote areas, and access to it is just almost impossible.
Cox says at one point they were spread out pretty thin. He says this fire is an all-hands-on-deck call, and the majority of crews fighting this fire are volunteers.
We've had more than a dozen homes that were threatened by this at one point or another. At one point, we were a little worried about the town of Ochaleta.
But Cox says there is good news for homeowners tonight. With about 8 crews on the ground and 3 aircraft flying, they're hoping to keep this fire secure overnight.
So maintaining and reinforcing those control lines, getting aircraft to continue to work while we've still got daylight.
And as many residents look on, they say they are thankful to have these departments on scene and working hard. Now, the majority of these firefighters out here today are volunteers. There will be some patrols throughout the night. Another interesting thing that fire officials pointed out to me today is when that fire ripped through this cemetery, many of these plants and flowers remained untouched tonight. Live on the scene, on the story, here in Washington County, Justin Schreier, News on 6.
We responded to the area of 2500 East Pine Street for a collision involving a pedestrian. The driver and pedestrian both have conflicting stories as to the cause of the collision and who was at fault.
We got a report of a house fire. We had the occupant of the house call, said she had a fire, and the phone line went dead. We did have fire and smoke showing. Upon arrival, we had crews make entry to initiate fire attack. We also had search crews go in and were able to find the victim and pull her from the structure.
Basically, tonight, about 45 minutes ago, about 7:45, we had a car that impacted a train that was crossing Southwest Boulevard and was drugged approximately 250 feet with 2 occupants inside. We had the rescue task force respond and had to extricate them from the vehicle, and they've been transported to the hospital.